Welcome. Another episode of It's Still Real to Me. Jonathan Zaslow here, Zaslow Show 2.0. My pal, of course, is Joey Levine, and everything Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me, is always brought to us by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. If you've been involved in an accident, if you're dealing with a personal injury, these guys have been behind me. I should say from day one, from before day one. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys have been behind me in supporting Zaslow Show 2.0. So, of course, if you're in trouble, if you've been in an accident and you need some help, I'm sending you to them because they're the best in the business. 800-747-FREE. That's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-3733. Good morning, Joey. How are you today? We are through another week of professional wrestling. Big news, big stories, big notes, of course. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm getting ready. Doesn't it seem like last week we were saying we have 6 weeks till Mania, and now we only have 3. Seemed like we were talking about how much time we had, and now it's like it's here.
3 weeks away. Everything is starting to take shape, and I will tell you, it's funny because a lot of things are taking shape that we saw the direction they were going in. But and it's coming to fruition. But sometimes, and WWE, I think, has done a really good job at this, sometimes the obvious is still the way to go. And a lot of what we're seeing is obvious, but it's just done well. And so I find myself super excited.
Yeah, but I will say this, so the one storyline we know that we've not been able to predict and has not leaked and nothing ever comes out is Bloodline. But I do think WWE has a little bit of an issue. They've always had leaks and rumors and this and that, but it just seems like over the last few months, a lot of these leaks and rumors are happening. Even Brian Gewirtz tweeted, because there was a rumor out there, and I won't even say it on the show because it's the fact that it's out there already is crazy.
And for people who maybe you don't know just the name off the top of your head, Brian Gewirtz, he was essentially the Rock's writer. He's an executive now with Rock's $7 Productions. He was a longtime WWE writer, but very famous for really being like the Rock's writer.
Right. And so it was a rumor involving a Mania storyline and what's going to happen after Mania and this and that. And it was his thing was even if this is true, hey, maybe don't be a complete asshole and just respect the job, because it's happening. It seems to be happening a lot in WWE. I mean, I know it happens in all these companies, but man, I feel like more so than ever, every time I read a rumor, something along those lines is happening other than Bloodline. Bloodline, we still have no idea.
So let's get at the big story, man. The biggest story from the week started, Monday night. What's going to happen on Monday? Every week we're doing this. What's going to happen on Monday nights? You got John Cena returning, but the big story before we get to Cena just obliterating Austin Theory in the promo. I mean, but what would you expect, right? I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
Where do you go from here in that build? Geez.
I don't necessarily agree with that perspective, but we'll get to that coming up. The big story from Monday night, took place at the end of the night. So you got Sami Zayn, and he's taking on Jimmy. Sami gets the win. Okay, fine. Maybe you got a little bit of distraction there. Look, you got Jay's here. Jay's back. And we know throughout the night and really throughout the week, you got Roman Reigns, who is threatening, if Jay doesn't fall in line, I'm taking it out on Jimmy. Now, that's important, okay? That line there is really important. And at the end of the night, you got Jay, who kind of bypasses his brother. Now, you're watching this, Joey. And Jay, he walks past his brother after clearly being very conflicted. And he gives the hug to Sami. Your thoughts in that moment were what?
Can I tell you my honest thoughts in that moment? It's amazing. I know this is insane because this is just the way my weird brain works. It is amazing how crazy these people are going for this guy just turning his back on his brother, on his twin brother. These people are losing their absolute, that was the loudest pop.
Yeah.
That pop, I would say that pop was
twin.
That pop was arguably as loud as Rumble when Sami turned on Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were equally as loud, and I was like, holy shit, these people
awesome.
are They really want him to hate his own twin brother.
Yeah, F your twin.
But I did think he was with Sammy. In that moment, I thought he was with Sammy. Like I thought he was
okay.
I did think I didn't see it. That's what I'm saying. With the bloodline, I just never know. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting it out. You want to, not that I was checking the clock, like how much time is left on Raw, because I didn't do that. If you do that, you probably knew something was coming, but I didn't do that. And I was still kind of waiting. I'm like, okay, I like this. Good. Let's see. There's a swerve. Didn't expect this. Let's see where it goes, And then you get the super kick, which, by the way, was sold so well by Sammy. I mean,
he went into the barricade.
Yeah, falling like dead weight into the barricade. Just a really good sell. And then they beat the shit out of him. And you got Sammy, during it, Jay's yelling at Sammy, that whole deal. So that's going to take us to what's going to be coming up next on Friday. But throughout the whole week, Joey, I'm thinking to myself, okay, why did Jay do it? Is it because he's actually with the bloodline, or is it because he's protecting his brother Jimmy? Because that line that Roman Reigns says, if he's not back and he doesn't fall in line, I'm taking it out on Jimmy.
Right.
And you got to remember, from the beginning of this story, it was Jimmy. What was it, Hell in a Cell? It was Jimmy coming to protect his brother. And then you had Roman who put, Jimmy in the triangle too. Which, by the way, why doesn't Roman use the submission
guillotine
holds anymore?
It was a guillotine, right? That he used
to
use?
Yeah. Why doesn't Roman use the submission holds anymore? It's such a good heel move. Why doesn't he use it anymore?
Well, I think they've built him as so dominant that he doesn't have to choke a guy out. He just
loved when he was using
that's just a thought. I don't know. It's a good question. It was when it is a heel move to just completely choke the life out of somebody.
So you go back to the beginning. Jimmy saved Jay, and Jimmy fell in line with the bloodline because he had to save his brother. He acknowledged the tribal chief because that was the only way to save his brother. All right. The two of them, and so now we get to this place where Jay doesn't have a problem with Jimmy. Jay's potentially got a problem with Roman. Jay's potentially got a problem with Sammy, but Jay doesn't have any reason to have a problem with Jimmy. Yeah. So the whole week, all right, is Jay back in the bloodline because that's his thing? Or is he back in the bloodline because he needs to protect his brother? And then we get to last night. And that promo that they cut there is exactly what it was. Like Jay didn't tell the tribal chief to fuck off, all right? But he kind of almost did, the whole promo was he made it clear he did what he did because he had to protect his brother. I mean, he said, bro was about to get clipped. What would you do? So the whole week, I'm wondering why did he do it? I think it was only to protect Jimmy. He still may have beef with Roman. And I think that's still where we're at, man.
Yeah. Can I just point out, this is the only hole in the bloodline storytelling is how much I mean, obviously the Usos are twin brothers, but they lean on that. Like Jay, like last night, he came back to protect his brother. Mm-hmm. Solo is their brother. Solo is their third, he is their brother. He's not a twin brother, but he is their brother. So Solo didn't want to protect Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's the only.
I think they're leaning on the twin part.
Sure, of course. And they've been around forever. It's wrestling, but I mean, I thought it was, I still think it's well done. I'll be fascinated if we get a face-to-face, I guess maybe next week or the week after with Jay and Roman at some point. And I definitely
won't on Raw. So next Friday would be 2 weeks away from WrestleMania.
And can I tell you, this smells a little bit to me like Roman is going to win at Mania, and Jay is going to fight Roman either at the next paper.
I hope Roman wins at Mania. I do.
Elimination Chamber, or they could build that again all the way up to SummerSlam.
Yep.
There's a lot there. And I tell you what, Cody's incredible. We know Cody is a top guy. Sammy was incredible. There's no story better than Jay and Roman. I mean, there's no story to end this. If Roman's going to drop the belt and become a part-timer and takes, not always be around, There's no better way to break up the bloodline than having it come full circle.
I totally think we're headed. Now, if it's because Roman holds on to the belt after WrestleMania, which I hope so, but whether Roman beats Cody or not, I totally think we are headed toward Roman versus Jey.
Gotta be.
Can it be SummerSlam? It's August. It's a long time. It's 4 months. I don't know. I don't know if you can wait till SummerSlam. You got Money in the Bank, which is in London. That's a massive show. Could be there, but that's a rather quick turnaround.
But that'll be right around the 1,000 day mark of Roman being champion. By the way, that's worth noting. But if he retains, that would be right around the 1,000 day mark. Would be Money in the Bank.
I think we're totally headed toward Roman versus.
But you
Jey.
could. Here's why you could spread it out till SummerSlam is because it seems like there's going to be something here with a Cody, Sammy, KO versus the Bloodline thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like we saw last night, Cody's been making the save for Sammy. He made the save for Sammy. But I will point this out to you. Did you notice this? So on Raw, Sammy's still trying to get KO to help him, right? KO doesn't want to deal with it.
Nah.
There was a backstage segment with one of the best guys on the roster, Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs is the man. Rick Boogs. But I
like what they're doing with Boogs and Elias. Are they going to do a concert WrestleMania? Is that going to be their bit?
I don't know. But the whole segment, by the way, where it cuts to him trying to deadlift like an 18-wheeler.
Give me some handles. I'm telling you I can do it.
But anyways,
so
that segment,
big, by the way. Like his arms are the size of my torso.
But can I ask you, did you notice the Easter egg in that segment?
I did. Cody
and KO in the background, kind of like having a heated discussion almost.
Cody's trying to plead with him.
Like, hey, you got to help here.
Yep.
Like it can't just be us two. We need your help. Yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like Cody's going to be, which I guess is smart because they need Cody to be involved with Sammy.
Well, I think what we're doing next week, by the way, SmackDown ended last night. I think we're getting Cody and Sammy versus the Usos next week. I think that's what we're getting. And
not at Mania?
Cody and Sammy.
Oh, Cody. Yeah. Sorry.
I think we're getting Cody and Sammy against the Usos main event SmackDown next week. Big SmackDown show next week because we're also getting Drew versus Sheamus for who's going to fight Gunther at WrestleMania. Big SmackDown next week. I think the main event is going to be Cody and Sammy versus the Usos next week, and that will lead to KO. You mentioned the Easter egg there. KO coming out for the save of both Cody
because
and
Solo will interfere, and then KO is going to have to help.
Yep, and that's going to lead us because we'll be 2 weeks away at that point. You got to have a proper build. So at that point, I think next week we're going to get KO saving Cody and Sammy, and that's going to set up the tag team championship. I think that's what we're looking at.
I like it. I mean, it makes sense. He doesn't, and he could just, the way the way he works is he doesn't have to say like, I'm doing this for you, or I'm doing this because we're friends again. I'm doing this because because it's like Cody talked some sense into me. We're stronger together, blah, 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 but this doesn't mean that we're friends. And then we get the hug at the end of Mania. They hug it out after they win the titles.
By the way, what a run for KO, right? By the way, like they're going to win the titles from the Usos at WrestleMania, which who knows? That could be main event night one. Could be main event night one.
Yeah.
Bloodline main events both nights of WrestleMania. Totally possible. And then you go back to last year where KO main evented night one against Stone Cold. That's a run.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a run right there.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, I don't love the way the build has been so far. I think Charlotte and Rhea should be a main event, but the build hasn't been incredible. Like I don't love their interactions so far, but that's a huge match. And I think if you're going to make Rhea into what they want to make Rhea into, that's a main event. But yes, there's multiple options.
But you gotta factor in the visual at the end of the night. So the visual at the end of night one is heel Rhea Ripley raising the title, fireworks going off. She's a heel. Or the ending of night one, Uso's reign is over because KO and Sammy are boys again. They raise
what's going to happen to Rome, and what's going to happen is the bloodline done? Is Roman going to lose and it's all over?
You got to factor in what the lasting image is.
That's true.
you
It's
know?
true. Yeah.
And the
tag
second
titles make
image
sense.
is so much stronger.
Yeah.
So much stronger.
So you don't think the strongest image would be Austin Theory standing over John Cena and making fun of his bald spot?
Okay, so he's going to be standing over Cena when they fight. Now, so I think the two of us have different perspectives here because, yes, of course, John Cena obliterated Austin Theory on the mic there.
But almost too, like, Cena does this to guys, but this was like so aggressive.
I don't think it's possible. I don't agree. I go back to Roman Reigns, man. Their lead up to their match at SummerSlam, and Cena obliterated Roman Reigns. And I mean, Roman, he couldn't even talk. And Cena was like, "Oh, cat, got your tongue." And like, Cena killed him. And you look at Roman Reigns, man. And I'll tell you what, Austin Theory right now is much better on the microphone than Roman Reigns was at the time. So I think this just helps create, the good heat on Austin Theory, has everybody gets it, which, by the way, it's never been more true. I used to tell for my show, for Zaslow's show, Joy Taylor left the show eventually and moved on to Fox, and Amber Wilson left the show and eventually moved on now to ESPN. And I told both of them, they're never going to love you more than when you leave. And we're seeing that with John Cena. Cena returns on Monday, and this crowd is going crazy. He's getting emotional.
Boston.
That's true, but it would have been like that anywhere, though.
Yeah. No, it would. Boston.
And Cena's emotional, and it's like, they never love you more than when you leave. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're getting with Cena. And look, it's going to be Cena's first one-on-one match, first singles match at WrestleMania. Let's not count WrestleMania 34, that bullshit against The Undertaker. It's going to be his first one-on-one match at WrestleMania since, I believe, 32 against or 31. 31 was against Rusev. Who did he fight at 32 in Dallas? Well, he must have had a singles match at 32. Was it Bray? Did he fight Bray? No.
Maybe.
He might have fought Bray at 32. Either way, WrestleMania 32, because 31 was Rusev. 32, I'm pretty sure he had a singles match. It's 7 years since Cena has had a singles match at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 32 was The Rock and Cena versus the Wyatts.
No, that was The Rock when he had like that impromptu and he beat Eric Rowan really quick.
Yeah, and then they teamed up and fought the Wyatts, is what it says.
Okay, well, all right, then we got to go to 31 because 31 he fought Rusev. So it's been 8 years then, because in between that time you had him team up with Nikki against The Miz and Maurice. You had, like I said, that bullshit with The Undertaker, WrestleMania 34, that does not count. And so you got to go back 8 years since Cena's had a singles match at WrestleMania. That's a really big deal. So this is a monster match, dude. And I just think it helps get the heat on Austin Theory.
Yeah, I guess where my thought is that it's a big deal just because, like, all the things you just said about it being a singles match with Cena. I was just thinking, like, where do we go with the build from here? Just because, like, they can't talk to each other again. Like, you can't. Like, you
don't think Cena's back before WrestleMania?
Well, he probably has to be. Maybe the week before or something. Like, you can't just. Are we just going to go into WrestleMania not hearing from Cena again? I don't think so.
I mean, can Cena just keep making him look like a punk leading up to it?
Well, it can't make him look like any more of a punk, so I guess so. Like, it can't get. I don't think it can get worse than it got on Raw for Theory in terms of someone just running him down on the mic. Like, that was one of the worst undressings on the mic I've seen in a long time. I loved it. No, it's good. I just it caught me a little off guard. Let's put it that way. But I mean, yeah, to your point, I guess if he just completely undresses him and like tears him down to the point where everyone's like, God, this guy doesn't even deserve to be in a match with Cena. And then he beats.
I don't think.
No, but I'm saying, and then but then he beats him. It makes it even bigger deal.
I mean, he has to beat him, right? Because Cena's not carrying the U.S. title. See, that part right there almost hurts the match. It would almost be better if there was no title on the line. The fact that the U.S. title is on the line.
Yeah, but he's had the U.S. title.
Oh, of course, he's been a great U.S. champion, but he's not showing up to Raw every week with the U.S. title.
No.
That's the point.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So, there would be an aura of, man, Cena, if the title was not there, Cena can totally beat him. But because the title is on the line, Austin Theory's going to win.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. But just, I think it takes, I don't want to say it takes away. I mean, the U.S. title is important. But, I think it's a little bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree. No, I agree. I think it's clear. I think unless it's like Cena wins it and then drops it the next night, something crazy, but
hands it over. He's like, listen, this belongs to someone who's here and able to defend it every week. He comes out what this US title's about.
Or he comes back out and he like this would be an indicator that they're not super high on Austin Theory, I guess, but he wins it and then he comes back out and he reinstates the John Cena US title open challenge, and Jay White comes out and beats like something crazy, like something like wild happens and then he's out. But that would be the only way.
So let's fast forward now to the rest of SmackDown. I think those were really the big stories from Raw, right?
Well, the only other thing from Raw is, so now we are getting the women's triple threat at Mania, which is weird because, not
the triple threat, the 3-on-3.
The women's 3-on-3. Yeah, sorry, not triple threat. Six women tag.
Yeah,
which is weird because
we knew that was one of two directions they were going to go in.
Yeah, so I'll just say Ronda Rousey's really hurt.
Yeah.
So I guess that means they think she's not going to be ready for Mania. That must be what it is, because she wasn't on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, she's really hurt.
But when she first got hurt, they were like, well, she'll be back in time. That was what they were saying. But now it looks like, obviously, if they're doing this tag match, it's just weird now Becky and Lita just have the tag titles like for no reason, it seems like. But
they've never, I mean, I don't want to talk about the Sasha Naomi bullshit, but they've never really cared about the women's tag titles.
Sure, but didn't it feel like when Becky and Lita won them, it was to set up a high profile match?
That's what I was hoping. Yeah. We knew it was one of two directions they were going in. I felt that if Becky and Lita won, we were going to see them face Ronda. That was going to be our way to get to Ronda and Shayna. And if Becky and Lita lost, it was going to be because Bayley interfered and Trish is going to come in and even the score for WrestleMania.
Yeah, and Ronda's been publicly talking for a while about how she's done with the singles thing. Right now, she wants to go after the tag titles. So it means she's not going to be ready for Mania.
Right.
So, but that's fine. Was there anything else? Shout out Chad Gable got a TV win. That's it.
First time in like 5 months, right? 4 or 5 months.
Who knows, man? Maybe Victor can tell us next week because it's been a long time and I love it.
So SmackDown, we have the Fatal 5-Way, which gets things going. And again, another example of, we know what direction WWE is going in here. It's just a matter of how are they going to execute it. And we're getting a 3-way at WrestleMania against Gunther. McIntyre and Sheamus get the pinfalls at the same time. Now, they're fighting next week. Great promo that Gunther cuts, telling Adam Pearce, you are derelict of your duties. You are derelict of your duties. English is not my first language, but I know the difference between challenger, singular, and challengers, plural.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the match next week. Now the question is, how do we keep McIntyre and Sheamus in a potential 3-way at WrestleMania? Because that's what we're getting. So now we're getting one-on-one next week to decide who fights Gunther, but we got to find a way for both of them to advance. How do we do it?
I mean, I think they just beat the absolute shit out of each other to a no contest, to a point where it's like
they're both down for a 10 count.
Or no. Like they fight into the backstage area. Officials are trying to break them up. Like they fight to a point where like there can't even be a pinfall.
Yeah.
Or they both get counted out. Like I don't think it's like they can't meet the 10 count. I think it's they get counted out or officials have to break them up. They're so mad at each other. They're supposed to be friends, this and that. And now like the only way, since we can't get an actual match out of them because there's so much heat, we have to have a triple threat.
Yeah, because that shit's going to be awesome. I mean, look, I think everything Gunther does is awesome. And we already saw Gunther versus Sheamus, which was a match of the year candidate at Clash at the Castle. And now we're adding McIntyre into it. It feels big. I like it. Gunther's made the Intercontinental title a big thing.
Yeah. And that's the question for me is like, I think Gunther's so good that I would consider giving Sheamus the Intercontinental title and just putting Gunther right in the world title picture, like right away. I mean, he's so good. I think he could be. I think he's there. And Sheamus then becomes a Grand Slam champion and gets his moment, whatever. But
I mean, it's not like Sheamus hasn't. I was going to say, it's not like Sheamus hasn't had a WrestleMania moment. You know, he beat Daniel Bryan in 10 seconds.
Yeah. I'm just saying the whole reason he's going after this is so that he can. That's the only title he has.
That's not really such a great moment. Like, it's cool that Sheamus won the world title, but you win in 10 seconds. Kind of bullshit, you know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. It's more of a moment for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. That was here. That was what? WrestleMania 28, I think it was. That was here in Miami.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. But yeah, it'll be a fun match. Whatever they do, anything with Gunther is good to me right now. Yep. So I'm just happy to see him getting a big spot because everything he does right now is just so good. And it, by the way, like there's not a lot of guys, like it's rare that guys who English is not really their first language to be a really good promo.
He's awesome.
He's very good. And he just
get it out.
Yeah, he's to the point. He doesn't overdo it. But he gets his point. He's very good.
You know what's funny? You know what I do find funny to think back at? Oh, why you changed his name? His name is Walter. Nah, Gunther's pretty damn good name. He's Gunther.
Well, it's Walter.
Yeah, he's Gunther. He's Gunther.
Yeah. Well, now he is. Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing we did with Butch, right?
Yes. Where the hell is Butch, man?
He was backstage yesterday.
Okay. All right.
When they cut backstage to Sheamus and Drew arguing about the Intercontinental title, Butch and Ridge came in to pull Sheamus off.
By the way, are we done with we're not done with the Andre Giant Battle Royal, right? That's
I think it's happening,
gone. Right?
No, I think it's gone.
Well, I know the last year or two they did it on the WrestleMania SmackDown.
No, I don't know. I don't think I think it's gone.
You think it's gone?
I think my understanding of what I was reading a couple weeks ago is Triple H wants to like really pare down. Like he doesn't want to overdo it with unnecessary matches.
You know, I love a battle royal.
I know.
We're not doing Andre the Giant battle royal anymore.
I like a battle royal that means something.
This means something. You stand next to the trophy like this, like Andre. That means something, man. This means something to me.
You just don't get anything. You get an opportunity to have your giant trophy broken by whoever your next opponent is. That's what you get.
To me. So my favorite part of the night, though, last night.
I think everybody's.
Oh my God. I can't believe how good it is. What a move. So how about this? WWE for the last however many years, they like to, we're a real sport. We're mainstream. And they like to leak the Hall of Fame headliners to the pro sports outlets. Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report.
I was at CBS Sports when they first started doing that. And I produced a segment with assets provided by WWE to announce that the Big Boss Man was going in.
Yeah, there you go.
And we put it on CBS Sports HQ, and then they used like CBS Sports announces.
That's right
on Raw. Yeah,
that's right. Story broken by CBS Sports. That's right. Yeah. They love that. So they didn't do that last night, and there's a reason why they didn't do that last night because the headliner is Rey Mysterio. Yeah. And I love it. It adds so much more juice to the match that we all know that we're getting. All right. We've known for 6 months this is the match that we're getting, yet we're still here and it's juicy as hell. And we all still like just a phenomenal job by everybody involved. I love it. My next question, though, is because he's going into the Hall of Fame.
I think I know what you're going to ask, and my answer is yes.
Are we making it a retirement match?
Yes, I think so. That was my immediate reaction. It's like, okay, so Dom is going to retire Rey.
Because I think that's the way to go.
That's the only reason to have an active, because they don't do this. They don't have like full-time active roster members go into the Hall of Fame.
Usually it's like a year or two later, like Batista. Although Batista hasn't been inducted yet. But usually it's like...
I think he's going to be... I actually think he'll be the headliner for this year. Rey was the first one announced. Oh, you don't think Rey's
the headliner? I mean, Batista, I suppose, is as big, you know, bigger. But I feel like
for WWE, he's bigger.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
And there's Batista, not a lot of guys that can go in that are going to be bigger than Rey, but I guess Batista would be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Batista, Evolution and all that.
Multi-time world champion. Rey won it once, I think.
Yeah, and Rey, as big as Rey is, I mean, a lot of his rise was in WCW, but anyways.
So are we getting?
I think
is this going to be a retirement match because I think that's where we're headed. I do.
I texted it to my brother as soon as it happened. I said, okay, so Dom's retiring Ray. Like, it's the only explanation for having a guy go in who is a current member of the roster. It just doesn't, it didn't make a ton of sense when I saw it, but then I was like, oh, okay. That's what this match is going to be all about.
Yeah,
Dom's
that's what I think.
If I beat you, you need to leave once and for all.
I mean, do you understand the heat that stays on Dominic Mysterio forever if he retires Ray at WrestleMania?
Well, I guess my other question then is, if he retires Ray at WrestleMania, do they hug? Do we get a moment? Like,
I think they could hug at the end, and Ray delivers the kick to the nuts, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho style.
Oh, Rey Mysterio.
They're going to throw garbage at Dominic after he does that. Are you kidding me? That's the best.
Yeah, but that's why. But then I'm saying if he beats Ray and then they hug, then you get Dominic over as like the baby face of all baby faces.
No, he's got to stay heel. He's got to stay prison Dom.
I know that. Then it's not a real retirement to me. I don't see Rey Mysterio's retirement being him low blowing his son. I just don't.
But here's what you got to remember, though.
So, if anything, I see it. Dom wins clean, Ray leaves, and that's it. And then Dom comes out and runs down Ray and all that stuff, and they just keep going with the storyline. I don't see.
You don't think Ray says to himself, from a personal perspective, we're talking outside kayfabe. You don't think Ray says to himself, the way that I want to go out is by handing over this insane amount of heat to my son. I feel like he says, you know
I
what?
Agree. Yes,
that's what I want.
I agree. That's what's going to happen. What I'm saying is, I don't think they're going to like hug and then Ray does the low blow. Like, or you're saying Dom does a low blow to Ray?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Ray does a low blow to Dom.
No. Dom wins. They hug, and like Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels. Jericho lost though.
That's possible.
Dom would win, and they hug. The crowd likes it, and Dom with the low blow. Yeah, they're going to throw garbage at Dom as he's walking back up the stage.
Yeah. Like, no, I agree. Yeah, no, that could work.
Move. That's the move. But yeah, I think we're headed toward a retirement match. Yeah. And I can't believe, like, the heat on Dominic's incredible. He comes out and just massive booing. He tells the crowd to shut the hell up. You got Michael Cole, this punk kid. It's such a great line, this punk kid. You got to keep saying it. And then he tells Ray the only Hall of Fame he deserves to be in is the Deadbeat Dad Hall of Fame.
Incredible. I don't know what it is about this story too, that like, I know the story is great, but you know what I also love about this story? I love that Legado is included in it.
Me too.
There's something about it.
I don't know when Legado del Fantasma.
So did I have that in my notes.
I love
goosebumps when Santos came out. Like, there's something about it, like them fighting for the honor of Lucha Libre and Rey Mysterio against the Bloodline and the Punks. There's something about it. It's like, it feels kind of old school to me. And then it's just, and also they're just awesome. So I think if what you're saying happens, they hug, Dom low blows him, that's how he goes out. Then I think we get then I think we get a huge Santos Escobar Dom program after Mania, which is
I love Legado del Fantasma. I think they are really great. Awesome. They're just the imagery of them. Even Zelina Vega there, and she's grilling
the mask up.
Yeah, I love it. I loved the imagery there. We got great factions in WWE right now. Really do. Between the Bloodline and Judgment Day, who are top notch. And then underneath them, you got like Legado del Fantasma that I really
Imperium
think starting to find their way. Imperium, of course. Yeah.
Brawling Brutes, if they ever do anything with them again, was awesome.
Now, so my first question there was, all right, are we getting a retirement match? I think we are.
Me too.
My next question is, can we wait? I've had this question for weeks now. We're 3 weeks away. Can we wait until WrestleMania before Ray punches Dominic? Dominic's egging him on every week. Can we get the moment at the start of the match where he finally puts his hands on him and the crowd is going crazy? We only have a few more weeks left. I hope they're saving it. We got a little bit closer.
Are we going to get to Mania before he touches him?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think they're gonna. I think
I hope so.
that is gonna be.
It's hard to do that
is gonna
today.
be. It's gonna be the pop when he finally hits him. But they need to save it for Mania.
I hope we're almost there. You know, Ray got closer to touching him last night. He ducked. He pulled down the rope. Dominic flew out of the ring. Like, he's getting closer to finally putting his hands on him. You just please save it until they get in that ring.
But I do think, man, if he hits him before Mania, it takes a little steam off of that match.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they can do it. I think they can do it, and they can continue to have Santos protect him and all that stuff. And
that moment where he finally punches him in the middle of that ring, crowd's gonna go crazy.
Also, they could just keep him off air for a week. Like, they don't have to have Ray on air next week. They could just skip a week and then make it a 2-week build, you know?